Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Chris Gabrelcik, the President and CEO for Lubrication Specialties, the maker of Hot Shot Secret. I'm here with Kyle Fisher, our Marketing Director, and we're going to do the first of our live video cast, is what we're calling it, because I was told that it's not a podcast. So in the next couple of weeks, we're going to try to do a deep dive into one or two products every show. We're going to open it up to phone calls. Our phone number is 1-800-341-6516. It's 800-341-6516. So if you want to call and ask a question, if you want to know what the secret is in Hot Shot Secret, this is your chance to find out, because nobody else will know except for you. We want you also to post questions on Facebook. We have a feed here, so any questions that come up, we'll answer them in real time. And if there's anything you want to see next week or questions you have in the future, let us know and we'll attack it. Is there anything else I missed there, Kyle?
We'll try. We already had a little technical difficulties getting on, so we'll get better with this each week. We're not trying to take ourselves too seriously. We are oil and additive experts, not technology experts. So we'll have a good time with it, and hopefully open up the door to let you guys find out a little bit about what we do. And I think each week we're going to cover a new product.
Correct. We'll do a deep dive into a new product every week. We'll also go over some of the research and development that's going on here in Mount Gilead. I'll give you some sneak peek into that. We'll have some product giveaways, and if possible, we'll bring a guest on if we can get him here to our headquarters. So this week, the first product we wanted to jump into was the Stiction Eliminator. This was actually the product that launched our retail presence. Before this, we were industrial commercial sales almost entirely, and then we developed this product for Navistar. And originally, it was for the Ford 6-liter engine. And those of you that know that product know that it had a HUE injector system, so it had a high-pressure oil pump and had oil side to the injector. And the problem was that the warranties were racking up to the tune of about $500,000 a month, and they wanted a product that would clear out what we call stiction. It was a sticky gummy varnish inside the injector, which eventually turned to like a black hardened state, and then it would prevent the injector from working. So at that time, the only choice you had was to replace the injector. There was no real easy way to take it apart and clean it. So we developed a product that they would be able to put into the engine oil, run it for 500 to 1,000 miles, and it would clear the problem up 9 times out of 10, more likely closer to 19 out of 20 times. There's always a chance that something mechanical failed in there. So there could be like a ring, a spring, an O-ring that might have been broken in there. So in those cases, we had a money-back guarantee. In that case, we figure you need the money to go buy a new injector, so we didn't want to keep your $50. Anything to add on that, Kyle, or did I get it all?
I think you covered the origin there.
Okay. So how the product works is it's not just a matter of cleaning out the inside of the oil system. It's a matter of cleaning it out safely. Anybody can clean out the inside of an engine, just put solvent in there. The problem is that you're ruining all the lubrication, and you've got a lot of scratching and scarring going on. So the challenge was to develop a product that had the right amount of detergents with VI improvers, and it would keep the film thickness proper in there. And that's what we did with the Stiction Eliminator. So we were able to clean it and lubricate the engine at the same time. And over the years, we wanted to advance the formula. So to do that, we want to make sure that we had the best product that could be made. The first step was to come up with a stiction test. We had to actually invent a test that would show stiction and how it would be removed on a steel plate, so we could test different formulas, test competitors' products, and those types of things. Then we contacted everyone from around the globe and asked them to send us products to test, and we looked for synergies between them after we were able to index them. So we found out which were the best and which were the worst, and then we started working off the top of the list, seeing how we can build even a better product. The results are that the new Stiction Eliminator, which is probably 2 years old now, but the new Stiction Eliminator was able to remove stiction 30% better than the old formula, and it was able to increase the horsepower by 5% and reduce the wear inside the engine by 62%. So it was a huge gain. It was a much better product even than the first one, and it still resolves all the stiction issues. Anything to add on that, Kyle?
Well, I think an important thing to address right off the top too is, although this product came up through the diesel world with the Ford issue, this is a gas and diesel product.
That's right. really the root cause of the problem is that as the performance levels go up and we try to squeeze more and more out of the engine, we're bringing those metal surfaces from here to here. So they have a much closer tolerance. Well, when they were farther apart, there was more oil flow. So the oil stayed cooler and it basically kept everything in check. But as they tried to squeeze more and more miles per gallon and more performance out of it, the oil doesn't flow through there nearly as quickly. So it gets hot. The steel inside there gets hot. We call them hot spots in the engine. A couple of hot spots would be the cams, the inside of the injector on the piston if you have oil-fired injectors, but the biggest one would probably be a turbo bearing. Now, the same problem happens on a high-performance gas engine. So if you have a Volkswagen, an Audi, a Saab, anything with a turbocharger, you're going to run into the same stiction issues that we have in the diesel. It just showed up on the diesel 10 years ago, where now we're seeing it in all the gas engines also. So,
and a lot of those gas engines are turning to smaller 4-cylinder, 6-cylinder turbocharged. We're seeing a lot more turbocharged vehicles out there. So it's even going to become more of a great product for a lot of gas applications out there. One
of the seminars we went to said that by 2020, 50% of the cars will have turbochargers, trying to meet the miles per gallon that the EPA has put out. So we expect this to become more and more of a problem. The high point of that for a car is that you only need a 16-ounce bottle of Stiction Eliminator, where on a truck you need a 64-ounce bottle. So it's a reasonable priced product to use once a year to keep your stiction problems at bay. But it also reduces the wear in your engine, so you're going to have 62% less wear, which essentially means the engine's going to last twice as long as it would if you're not using this product.
And we really look at that two ways. From the standpoint of a new vehicle, starting off with it, you're going to stop the wear before it even gets started, get the longevity out of the vehicle. But for those out there buying a vehicle with some higher mileage on it, it's a great product to, how do we put it, freeze time with it. We actually stop any of the deterioration that had already started. So if that car runs good with a couple 100,000 miles on the used car lot, right then, this is a great thing to start with to hold it there and maintain that level of wear, so it won't get any worse.
Oh, I had a call earlier when I got back from one of my appointments, and they said they want to talk to the owner of the company. So I went and called the fellow back, and he said, I had a Ford truck 2 years ago, and it wouldn't start for a week. I had water in the gas tank or the fuel tank. And he said, everybody told me I needed new injectors, I needed to drain the fuel. He said, I bought your diesel stream, put it in there, and it started right up the next day. He said, it's been running perfectly for 2 years now. And he said, I just bought a new DT 466, which is a larger truck. And he said, I want to know what I should do with it. He said, my advice is the first thing I would do with any used truck is to put in a bottle of Stiction Eliminator in the engine oil and then treat the fuel tank with Diesel Extreme. It will clean out everything that's been in there as well as treat it. There's rust and oxidation inhibitors. So, if you get diesel fuel that's got a little bit of moisture in it, which all diesel fuel does, eventually it starts to corrode the bottom of the tank, and it will also corrode the inside of the lines. So this is going to go in there and put a coating on there to keep it from corroding any longer. It will also disperse all that moisture so that it runs through the engine and clean out the injectors and the lines. So, probably if you were to go in there with a, like on the Magic School Bus where you can go inside the fuel tank and see what's going on, you would see a fine coating of varnish on the fuel side, and in the oil you'd see a black coating. After our treatment, it would look like brand new. It would look pristine. You'd see shiny metal as opposed to a black coated surface. And we know this because we've taken engines apart. We have pictures on our website of engines that use Stiction Eliminator versus the ones that haven't. We've cut fuel lines apart, and so we understand what's happening. We know how it works and why it works. And I think that we put the best packages together for people to be able to use.
So size-wise, we start off with our 16-ounce. This is a good passenger car, 4 to 6 quart engines. This will be an initial clean out, a 16-ounce bottle. And then what we call a maintenance dose after that initial clean out would only be half this. It's only about 8 ounces. And we have this size from 16 to 32. We have our 64s. We sell it by the gallon. We sell it by the 5-gallon, by the 55-gallon drum.
We do have fleets that buy totes of product and drums of product. So it is a great product all the way across the board, and the pricing is reasonable enough. You can also pick it up at retailers. You can get it from our authorized dealers, which you can find on our website. Also on the web, we have the Hot Shot Secret website, and we're on Amazon. The retailers that carry the product, there's, I don't know what percentage, but some of the Walmart stores that have diesel sets, AutoZones, O'Reilly's, Tractor Supply, Bongar's, Myers department stores,
Pilot, Flying J.
yeah, Pilot, all the truck stops. Love's should have the diesel extreme and put the Stiction Eliminator on soon. So you get the idea. Most retailers are going to have the product. It's easy to get. If not, go to our website and order it, and you can have it in 2 days.
And just a quick note here, I see we already got a couple questions coming in. We're going to be doing some product giveaways today too, so I encourage you to post your questions up. We already have some questions from the previous week we're going to address a little bit later. If you want to post your questions below, we're going to give some Stiction Eliminator away today to, we're going to select some people at random for posting questions and send them a bottle. So if you ever had a question, now's the time. Go ahead and post it, and we'll address it as we go.
One of the common questions that I always hear is people that know our product line know that we have a product called FR3, which stands for friction reducer, and there's 3 patented products in there. In essence, what we're able to do is make the inside of the engine much more efficient. We reduce the friction, increase the horsepower, and these are all documented gains. I mean, we've done EPA tests, we've done dynos, we've done real world tests up and down the freeway. So what we've developed that to be is the second stage of the treatment. So we really want to clean out the inside of that engine using the Stiction Eliminator, then follow up with the FR3. It has the same ability to reduce the wear, to make everything work better, but it doesn't have near as much detergent because the cleaning action has already been done. So we don't have to clean quite as much, but it will keep the inside of it clean and keep the stiction from returning. So that's our system. You should try it. It really works well. The other thing we want to talk about a little bit this week is our research and development that's been going on here at the Lubrication Specialties headquarters. One of the things that we've been working on, which if you're on the web, you see that we've been getting testers for our gasoline additive. We have not gone into the gasoline additive market, and the reason is we have not, until this time, been able to make a product that is head and shoulders above what everybody else has to offer. We never really wanted to offer a product that was just as good as everybody else or even a little bit better. Our unique selling proposition here at LSI is that we make really, really good top-tier products, the best of the best, or we find a specific problem like a transmission. We fix that problem, or we come up with a fix for it, and then we offer it to the public. We didn't want to just start putting our name on products to sell product. Unless it could be 2, 3, 4 times better, then we really don't want our name on it.
And a lot of times the industrial grade, professional grade products out there, there are some good products that aren't made available to the consumer on the shelf. So that's really how we position ourselves, is to be able to make a professional grade product, which naturally is going to be well better than anything you can find on the shelf, but we make it available to the common consumer.
That's right. There may be, when I'm working with large companies like on an oil drilling rig or in a coal mine, there may be a solution for them that they're using. They're buying their toad, but nobody ever wanted to offer it in a quart. Well, why? Because, well, we want to sell a toad for $2,000 or $3,000. Nobody wants to spend their time selling a 16-ounce bottle. Well, I want to bring those products out because they make sense and they pay for themselves. So that's a lot of where we get our technology, is just studying what's working elsewhere. So one of the things that we've been working on the last couple of weeks is a gasoline additive. We've actually been working on for a couple of years, but we think we found something unique. So now we've set up a testing system where we've sent out 3 different additives to different people that have asked for them, and then we sent out a placebo. Nobody knows which ones are which except for us, because we want a true scientific study done, because sometimes you put something in a tank and you think you're getting a 5% increase in fuel economy, where maybe you're just driving 65 instead of 85, which I know that happens. So what we've done is we put together a really detailed testing procedure, and so far the results are good. If you're interested in becoming one of our additive testers, go on our website and fill out the forms, and we'll send you a bottle at no charge, and we'll add you to our scientific study. It's a chance for everybody out there to become part of our research and development team. Another area that we're working on is something called biogas, which doesn't sound very attractive, but in the landfills all across the country, all across the world actually, when they bury all that trash, it starts to decompose, and as it decomposes, methane gas is produced. As the methane comes out, they pump it into special engines, and then they create electricity with it. Well, there's a lot of problems with that because it's a really dirty and it's just difficult to get any kind of consistency. So we've come up with a few products that we're testing around the country, And so far the results are good. We've got those tests going on. We've got new friction modifiers going on that we're working on, and then TBM packages for that same industry. Those are some of the things going on this week. We'll keep you updated as to how the tests are coming. We also want to talk about maybe some of the new products that are coming up at Apex. Kyle, you got any ideas for what's going to happen there?
Can we tell?
That's okay with me.
We do have some new products coming. Maybe we can get Kevin on next week, our Vice President of Research and Development, to really take a deep dive. But I know we've been working in the transmission fluid area, which is kind of a new area for us. Fire pump diesel has been running it in there. They're big trucks, and so I think we'll have that out there by Apex.
That's good.
The gear oil as well.
Gear oil.
We're gonna have a severe duty gear oil. We have some trucks out there running it now already. We just like to thoroughly test before we bring it to the market. So we've had incredible gains on it already. So we're confident where we're at with that.
And a lot of our products this year, if you're following us, have come from the performance industry. Once the racers were able to see what we could do with our additives, they asked us to develop engine oils that they could use in their cars and in their trucks. And that's where you're seeing a lot of that technology being revealed now through our blue diamond, the green diamond, and the other engine oils that we have on the website.
And as he mentioned, our gasoline additive that we're currently testing, we should have that finalized now by Apex. And for the diesel guys, we're never going to forget where we came from. So we're constantly working in R&D on diesel as well still. And I think we're going to be releasing a emergency formula for.
If you're gelled up in the wintertime.
Right. So yeah, if you forget to put that DWAG in, our diesel winter anti-gel, which we recommend is probably a good time to say. A lot of times people wait too long to switch over to an anti-gel, and we recommend October. It's a good time of season to start switching over to an anti-gel, so you can actually get it through your system, get it through your fuel filter, and you won't get gelled up. But for those that forget and find themselves gelled up, we are going to put a product out this year for those emergency situations to get you back on the road.
That's right. And again, back to the diesel, our fuel additives have given us a 5% increase in horsepower. Like when LeVon Miller tested it on the dyno, and you can go on our website and see the video, the video that they did when they ran those dynos. So it really does make a difference. We very consistently get a 4 to 5% increase in fuel economy, and that's done in the lab. That's done with the EPA. But it's also been done through hundreds of truck drivers who have called me and told me, this is what's happened. And the same thing happened with the FR3 and the Stiction Eliminator. Kyle, do we have any questions that have popped up on the?
We had a couple. Karen Owen asks, can you use Hot Shot Secret in a boat?
Absolutely, especially if it's a diesel boat. If it's a gas boat, you can put the Stiction Eliminator or the FR3 in the engine to get it smoothed out, cleaned out, and keep it running well. And boats have a special need. There's a lot more moisture, so water is brought into the engine a lot more so than a car because it's a boat, which just makes sense. So the way of dealing with that is usually the engine oil heats up and it kind of steams off the water, but keeping the crud that builds up while that process is happening is important. That's where the Stiction Eliminator will come into play.
A couple more questions coming in. Are the products just for diesel engines? I think we addressed that. Not just do we have the new gasoline additive for the fuel side, but all of our oil products are gas or diesel. Yeah. That's been since day one. We've been popular in the diesel market. It's only been our fuel side additives with our diesel extreme and our everyday diesel treatment, as well as our anti-gel for the winter time. Those are diesel fuel additives. But all of our oil additives have always been able to use both on gas and diesel engines.
So you can't use a diesel fuel additive in a gasoline engine because what we use to boost the cetane, which is kind of like octane to a gas engine, is cetane to a diesel engine. What we use in that is ethyl hexyl nitrate, and that destroys the octane in gas. But other than that, these other products can be used in gas or diesel. So the FR3, the Stiction Eliminator, we have a transmission Stiction Eliminator. Those are all safe either way. They have a extremely high value in the diesel engine because probably 100% of diesel engines are going to experience some level of stiction it's probably 30 or 40% of cars that are going to get that, because cars just burn cleaner. Anybody that has both the gas engine and the diesel engine, if you run your gas engine, your Toyota Corolla, and you check the oil, pull the dipstick out at 3,000 miles, it's going to be amber, clear. You'll be able to, if you have it on your finger, you'll be able to see your fingerprint underneath the oil. If you have a diesel engine and you run it for 2,000 miles and pull it out, it's going to be as black as coffee, and you won't be able to see your fingerprint underneath. It'll look black. So it's just a more dirty process to use the combustion engine when using diesel. And that's where some of these products have a higher value. But if you have a high performance gas engine, I would absolutely recommend get some Stiction Eliminator and follow up with the FR3.
Get a comment from Donald Critter saying it works wonders in his 1995 7.3 Huey injector. So again, 6.0, 7.3 guys, if you don't know about Stiction Eliminator yet, get on board.
If you have a 6-liter engine or a 7.3, you're going to replace your injectors.
And that's $6,000 or so?
That's about $4,000, or you can use Stiction Eliminator. Now, we have people that have had 250,000, 300,000 miles on their 6.0 that have never replaced injectors using Stiction Eliminator. If you don't use it, you're probably getting 100 to 150,000 miles between a set of injectors. It's an easy fix, so it's really worth it.
And that's specifically because of the Huey injector.
Correct.
Which, I don't know if a lot of people understand that, but it's an oil side is the problem there.
Correct. And see, that was before the DPF systems. They were trying to come up with a way to increase the efficiency so they didn't have to put a DPF on it, a diesel particulate filter. So what they did in essence is they put a hydraulic ram, like a small, or one piston pushing a smaller piston, which pushes the fuel into the cylinder. What they were able to accomplish by doing that is going from probably 5,000 or 6,000 PSI to 27,000 PSI at the tip. The problem is that the oil that's pushing the larger piston, and there's an animation on our website that we'll show you later on, and we'll put it on Facebook today after this podcast, or this video cast. And you can see what we're talking about. The problem is that the hydraulic oil in that piston is used motor oil. We just talked about how dirty and black diesel engine oil gets. Well, that's not what you're using for hydraulic oil, so it's not really a great way to do it. You really do need an extra cleaner and an extra lubrication product in there, which is what we're able to do with the Stiction Eliminator.
I see some people happy to hear about TransFluid. That's great. And Mel Robinson, he's one of our sponsored local racers. He chimed in. He's been running the transmission fluid in his Nova with really good results, so he's happy to see that. Got another question here. Why does FR3 gain more horsepower?
There's a couple things happening. When you're looking at the inside of the engine, there's a couple areas. I'm trying to think of how to unfold this and not get into a 2-hour explanation, but
I'll reel you down.
Okay. You've got the rings on the side of the cylinders, and you want as much of that explosion to be inside the combustion part of it, not going into the oil. One of the functions of the nano lubricant is it increases the film strength. So it's locking that up a little bit tighter so that less of that combustion is lost by what's called blow-by. The other area we're able to help is the nanocarbons that are in there are sealing everything up, and they're filling it with little tiny ball bearings, which causes everything to free up a little bit more. So if the coefficient of friction was 0.4 before, it's going to be 0.2 now. And that's how we get the fuel economy increase also. So we know we're affecting change. It was just a really unique chemistry when we came up with it that allowed us to do that.
Get a question about Diesel Extreme. Why can you only run Diesel Extreme every 6,000 miles?
You can run Diesel Extreme every tank if you want to. It's not going to harm anything. It's just not necessary. When we put together these additives, we have a limited amount of bottle space, and we don't use a lot of fillers. We don't use any if we can avoid it. And so the idea is to give you the most treatment packed in. So if you look at our treat ratios, they're much greater than most of the other products on the shelf.
Which is important. Look at the other bottles out there,
right?
And understand the difference in what the treat ratios. Obviously, the Diesel Extreme was a 1-tank cleanser, and it's a deep cleanse. There's a lot of similarities between our everyday diesel treatment and our Diesel Extreme, except it has a very heavy injector cleaner in there. So it's not going to hurt anything running every tank.
No.
But one thing that we do that's unique in the market is we want to have educated customers. And
right.
they don't need to be running that heavy of a cleaner in every tank. What people found is they love the cleaning. They probably love a little the cetane boost they get out of it, but then say, man, I'd love to have that like every time. And that's why we developed the everyday diesel treatment.
They said, is there something that you could make that we could use every day? So being the marketing geniuses that we are, we came up with everyday diesel treatment. So in essence, this diesel extreme and everyday diesel treatment are the same products at different mixes. This has more detergent. For this one, we've lifted up the per volume the amount of cetane and other additives so that you can use it at 1 to 3,000 or 1 to 1,500, one of those. And this is more like a 1 to 300. So this is a much more economical buy. This will save you more money in the long run. You don't really need that much diesel extreme. Once or twice a year is plenty to keep it clean or to clean it out. This is going to keep it clean and chemically enhance the fuel. So when we're looking at a fuel additive, the two ways that we're going to affect change inside that system are, one, to clean it out so that it's running like it did brand new. When you first get that truck, there's no buildup. So we've cleaned that out. That's step one. The other way we're affecting change is by chemically altering the fuel. So the fuel's going to burn at this rate. By changing it chemically, we're able to make it burn more efficiently. So what was going out of your exhaust pipe as particulate matter or as smoke is now being burned, creating power. So that's the combination of the two. And the same combination is in both of them. It's just that this is made to be a more economical everyday treatment.
Yeah, and I mean, this 16-ounce bottle treats 400 gallons of diesel fuel in it. We've even, I believe, heard some of our retailers have asked, can you put some filler in it so people feel like they're going home with a big, but we don't see them that need to do that. We want to keep our stuff concentrated for the consumer and a powered punch.
Well, what we did that was different than the other companies, we developed a professional line of additives, but we chose to sell it through dealers and through retail because we want everybody to have access to it. So there were several retailers that asked me, can't you just, water this down with like kerosene and put in a gallon jug? I said, I could, but that's not what we do. I mean, we're straight shooters. We tell the truth about what's in there. We publish everything. We're totally transparent. And we don't want to follow what they're doing. There's enough people doing that. What we want to do is offer you something that would treat your fuel system one time. It would clean it out because that's what you need. If something doesn't feel right on my truck, it's not accelerating properly or it just hesitates, something's wrong. You want a product that you can put in there and fix it, not, okay, that didn't work. Next week you're at the auto parts store again, you're dumping something else in there. Well, that didn't work. Then you try something else. Then you go to the mechanic. We didn't want that process. It's like, use this product, whichever one it is. If it doesn't fix it, then it's time to go to the mechanic because there's something else wrong.
And that's precisely why we have a 100% money back guarantee, no questions asked. And that's not necessarily for us to build trust in the guy that's walking down the aisle trying to decide if that's something for him, which that helps on that. But it's more so we want to have people avoid those expensive trips to the body shop and then the mechanic to fix a problem that we potentially can fix with one of our bottles here. So if you have an issue that looks like could fall in the line of the symptoms that we describe for our products, give it a shot. You have nothing to lose. If Stiction isn't your problem and this doesn't fix it, well, we'll refund your money.
And it's an easy process. Just copy the receipt, send in with where you want to send the check to. In a week's time, I think we get 5 or 6, we call them warranty claims. So it's just it didn't work. I had to have my injectors replaced. Here's your money back. We don't really make a big deal about it. Most of the time, the customer is more interested in finding out what else he could try to fix it because you're looking at an expensive repair bill, which we work with them on that. We have trained technicians in our customer service room, and they'll walk you through and try to figure out to the best of their ability what might fix it before you have to spend $1,000 or $2,000. So it's always worth a phone call or an email. We have a chat, we have live chat, we have emails, we answer them every day. Our goal is to answer everything within an hour, but at the very least, by the end of the day, we try to get everybody taken care of. So it's important to us.
Got a couple other comments. Looks like Mel Robinson said the 520 works great in his police car. He's one of our local sponsored racers. Michael Dover chimed in. The 2050 race oil is awesome. Michael Dover's one of the street outlaws that we sponsor, and I believe we'll have a little update on that here in a minute. Yep, Michael Doyle, he uses the Hot Shot Secret products in his tow vehicle and his race car. I know he's got a diesel truck that pulls the race car, so he's using our additives in that. Shelly Planey asks, can you use FR3 in a 2-cycle engine oil?
You can. We have not approved it for that, but we have run tests on it. And our goal is to get some serious scientific data, but we have done it dozens of times, and it really helps a lot. What would be really interesting is if we're able to replace even a 2-cycle oil and have a clean burning product so that, that real bad smoke doesn't happen. We haven't got there yet, but we do know that it increases horsepower. We know that it makes it run a lot better, and we just haven't vetted out all the testing. So yes, you can use it. You have to use it at your own risk at this point, but hopefully within the next 6 months, we'll have, a full story on how to use it and why to use it and that type of thing.
Thanks for the questions. Keep them coming. Those asking questions might just get selected for a free bottle of Stiction Eliminator headed their way, so I appreciate it. I got another one here from David Sanders. Stiction Eliminator before oil change, question mark.
You can do that. Just keep in mind, it is a series of detergents and esters. So the goal is to keep them as long as possible. If you add a detergent to the laundry cycle halfway through, are your clothes going to become clean? Most likely they will. If you really want to get a thorough cleaning, it's better to put the soap in before you turned it on. So yeah, we have a lot of people that use it halfway through, especially if you're having a problem, you don't want to change the oil. Absolutely use it, but to get the full advantage of it, the longer it's in there, the better it does. So,
and I think to add to that, there's some other products on the market that are cleaner products that are designed and are told you put this in at the very end, you run it through, you clean the car out, and then get that oil out of there. And the reason because is that there's no lubrication in there.
Right.
One unique aspect about a lot of our oil additives is the fact that we have the ability to clean and lubricate at the same time.
Right. So
it's kind of just like if you wash your hands with a very harsh cleaner and how dry they can feel. Mm-hmm. But now they have some, like the Dawn soap with oil of Olay, and so you actually have some lubrication at the same time. So that's why we recommend going ahead and putting it in with a fresh oil change. You're not going to hurt anything. You're putting it in there to clean longer throughout the interval, and we're lubricating during that. And that's where the FR3 and everything comes in. So we're one of the few formulas that you know of that can do that.
I don't know of any other oil additives on the shelf that use Group 5 esters. It's one of the most expensive base oils you can use. So we're using that. We're using nano lubricants. It's a very overly engineered product because we want the best of the best, and we want to solve the problem the first time, not the third or fourth. So yeah, it's better to put it in there for the full oil change, but if you need to, put it in when it's needed. Any other questions there, Kyle?
Dan Zilton says, I use the hot shots in my semi and my race truck, and I've seen great results in both. Thanks, Dan. David says, before the oil change, so we're getting kind of the same question. So you're starting a clean engine. Extreme additive before oil change also, so you're starting clean engine. Trying to follow you, David. I think he's asking the same thing. When do you add the additive? So yeah, again, it's best to add with a full oil change at the front of it. As Chris said, if you're having a problem, you're a little bit way through your interval on some expensive oil, doesn't hurt to throw it in midway, but you'll just get that shorter interval cleaning with it.
Okay. Wow.
We got some more questions that we fielded in the week up to this cast that we're running, strictly about Stiction Eliminator. So we'll cover a couple of those, but let's head off into a different direction real quick, and we'll talk about what's we got coming up on the schedule for Hot Shot Secret, the activities that we have this weekend, this Saturday. Let's give a shout out to our friends at Team Fitzgerald. Guy and Dan Fitzgerald are actually going to be, we're here in Ohio, they're actually going to be close. They're coming down from Michigan to our local Cabela's here to represent their brand. And if anybody might come, I think they'll be out there noon to 4. They have a brand new wrap trailer, Hot Shot sponsored. So we got a logo on that, so we hope to go see them out there. And that'll be the Polaris area Cabela's. That'll be this Saturday. And the next weekend, man, we got a packed weekend, a lot going on. Of course, the Great American Trucking Show, GATS. That goes on down in Texas. We'll be there August 23rd to 25th. We'll have a booth down there, so stop by, come see us. Sure, we'll be giving away some samples, EDT samples, and talking to the truckers,
answering all your questions. We'll have staff members there. I may be there myself because we have 3 other shows going on there.
We do.
NHRDA, G&J Diesel, Big Sky Truck in Montana.
Yep, out in Montana. It's the next leg of the NHRDA. We title sponsored the Diesel Drag Racing Series there, so we're big fans of the NHRDA and our partnership with them. G&J Diesel is the local company that's sponsoring this leg. They're one of our dealers, so shout out to G&J Diesel as well. And that's going on next Friday, Saturday in Montana.
And we have also going on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in Indianapolis.
Nope, it's Crossville Dragway in Indiana there. So that's the Outlaw Diesel Super Series, the Big Shy Diesel Extravaganza, and that's quite an event. We all look forward to every single year, and I believe we've got a couple booths there. We're gonna have one inside, one outside, and then we move over towards the drag strip on Sunday.
So there's an opportunity to ask more questions, see the staff, talk to them, find out what you need to know.
Sample our product. We have our product on discount at all the races.
We do.
So it's a good time to stock up if you're looking to buy. And then next weekend, Michael Dover chimed in earlier here. We're happy to sponsor Michael Dover from the Street Outlaws Memphis TV show that I'm sure you all know about, and they're going to be recording their finale in West Virginia next weekend. So we're going to head out there to support him August 24th and 25th in West Virginia. So we got a big weekend next weekend. We're going to kind of all hands on deck, and as much as people think, you know, we got over 20,000 retailers nationwide. We move everything. Every bottle you see worldwide comes out of our one building here in Mount Gilead. People might think we're a monster company, but you know, we've got, how many employees we got now?
About 35.
About 35. So when you get a 4-event weekend, everybody's on board.
And what's the VIP trip?
So just wanted to remind you that as the title sponsors of the NHRDA Diesel Drag Racing Series, we've been having a giveaway going along all year. We're coming up to the deadline. This is a incredibly awesome package. It's a trip for 2 to the World Finals at Texas Motorplex. If you've never been to a diesel drag racing event, you got to see it. If you're going to go to one, this is the one to go to. They do it big down in Texas, of course. And this package isn't just you get 2 tickets to the show. We're going to cover round-trip airfare, a 2-night hotel stay, a rental car, 2 VIP tickets to the World Finals. You get a luxury box suite in the tower at Texas Motorplex. Food and beverages covered. After the finals, they have their annual awards banquet. You get 2 tickets to that. We're going to give them some NHRDA and Hot Shot swag and shirts and clothes and hats, and also 2 memberships to the NHRDA, and you get an interview on Diesel TV as well with one of our Hot Shots reps and someone from NHRDA. So it is quite a package. It's free to enter. You can go right to our website, hotshotsecret.com/NHRDA. We are going to be selecting a winner September 3rd. So just a few weeks left to get your name in, and we've been running this all year, and we're looking forward to treating somebody to an awesome trip down to Texas. And you know, that's also, we've been supporting Emily Moeller and the Save the Rex Foundation all year to bring awareness to breast cancer. Well, that's going to be the finale, and I think we're up to, she's racked up, I think our last count was $4,200, something like that, around $4,200. We do a $50 donation every single time the Save the Rex truck goes down the track. So that's all going to culminate during the World Finals as well. That's the last chance she has to put some more money in the basket. So come down and root her on, and we'll be passing off the big check down there for her. And it's a good time. If you're gonna have your first experience at a diesel drag race, this is it. So go on the site, hotshotsecret.com/NHRDA, get yourself signed up, and we'll be picking a winner here in a few weeks.
And tell your friends about it. If you know people that are into diesel racing, tell them about it so they could sign up also. It's a great opportunity. Also, if you like this video cast, we're asking you to like it and share it with other people on Facebook. The more people we get involved, the more exciting and more fun it will be.
And we're no experts. We do this to try to open the door to let you guys in. The more we do it, the more we'll see what you want. We're flexible. We're open to ideas.
We're experts on oil, but not broadcast. So
Exactly.
if you have oil questions, you have additive questions, we're the people to talk to. But when it comes to broadcast, that's not our core competency yet, but it will be soon.
All right, got a couple more questions for you, Chris.
Okay.
Are any of your products guaranteed to help with gas mileage on a 6-cylinder engine?
I'd say the FR3 has a money back in. The FR3 will increase the fuel economy somewhere between 3 and 5%. So you're going to put that into the engine oil, and we're going to increase the efficiency of that combustion process. Now, the gas additive that we've been testing, if you call and order the FR3, get a free bottle of the gas additive as a test, because we've seen mixed results, but some of them have been as high as 6 and 7% increase in fuel economy. So it's a good chance to try it and get a free bottle of gas additive.
David clarified his question earlier. He said he understood. He just figured all the stuff the Stiction Eliminator is cleaning out the engine ends up in the drain pan. That's a good question. Sometimes we get that. People think, well, if it's so dirty and we start cleaning that out, isn't that just gonna, won't that just clog up stuff? But
right. Well, one of the things to keep in mind is that these are all hydrocarbons inside the engine. So, instead of thinking of it like you're scraping paint off of a wall and you have all these paint chips around, it's more like a lacquer thinner that's dissolving the lacquer. It's re-liquefying the hydrocarbons that are in there. So it does become dirtier. So it will look black and sooty, but it won't be solid. It will break it down back into an oil, if you will.
it returns to the oil. A question from Dana Mosley. Sorry, did you say you'd be in Cabela's in Columbus this weekend? Team Fitzgerald, a great group of guys we partner with, is actually going to be promoting at Cabela's. We hopefully can maybe stop by. We got kind of a busy weekend. We'd love to stop by, but feel free, 12 to 4, Polaris, Cabela's, stop by and see Guy and Dan, great guys. And I guess maybe we can kind of leak why we are partner with them. We also have another product that we're coming out with that doesn't really fall under this automotive line.
No, it's a little strange. It's a gun oil. And we found one of our formulas worked really well as a gun oil. So we sent it out to some professional shooters and asked their opinion. We sent it out to a professional SWAT team and said, was this better than everybody else? And the results were, head and shoulders above everything they've ever used. Guns that normally jam 2 or 3 times during a weekend didn't jam at all. This is the best oil. What is it? Where can I get it? Well, it's still in the development phase, but we're coming close to being able to release it, and we'll probably go through Cabela's when we do.
Yep.
So keep your eye out for that.
And I'm sure we'll probably do some field testing with that as well, just like we're doing with the gasoline. So that's probably the next step for us, is to get some of you out there, any of you guys, the firearm fanatics. We'll be putting the gun oil out there for you to try and get your opinion on as well.
Your feedback helps a lot because it gives us something to work with, and keep tweaking until we get perfection. And then a couple of questions that we had this week. I bought this truck used just under a year ago. This past weekend, I did an oil change. Here's my question. Just want to make sure I did it right. I bought the Hot Shot Secret Stiction Eliminator 2-quart jug. After I drained the oil, I replaced the filter, then added 2 quarts of Hot Shot Secret. Correct. Our product replaces 2 quarts of oil in that truck, being the treatment ratios are on the side of the bottle. But the idea is you don't want to over-treat the engine or overfill the engine.
So this replaces the oil.
Correct.
So if your dosage is a quart, you have a 7-quart engine, you're only going to put 6 quarts of your oil in this time, and a quart of our Stiction Eliminator.
And we have another person that the dealer used a 64-ounce bottle instead of a 32-ounce bottle. Will it hurt anything? No, it won't hurt anything. But there comes up, point of diminishing the, return. Yeah. So the treatment ratio is perfect the way we have it set. You don't need to use more. It's not going to help. So, but you can't over-treat. It's not going to hurt anything.
And that's actually an important point to touch on, is all of our products are fully formulated. We spend a lot of time in R&D to get these dosages to the maximum peak potential. So even on, I think someone like on the performance side, maybe the cetane boost that you get out of our EDT, a lot of times people think, well, maybe I can pour some more in there. Well, yeah, we have a performance dosage on there, 2 ounces to 25 gallons as opposed to 1 ounce to 25 gallons.
Right.
And that moves you from 6 cetane points to 7.
Right.
And, you know, Trey Sykes, one of our sponsored racers, he really wanted to test it and see how far he could go with it. And I believe he put a dosage, and we don't always recommend it, but obviously it shows it's safe, of 40 ounces of EDT on 5 gallons of fuel while he was racing. So that's a 200 times dosage of what we recommend. Now, did he get his cetane up? Yeah, we went in the lab and kind of measured exactly how much he was getting out of it. It came out to about 10.5 cetane points, I believe. So you got to think, though, it shows you how fully formulated we are, where 1 ounce gets you to 7, and then the other 39 ounces only got you a couple more cetane points. So really, the everyday guy, when we tell you to put an ounce of this in, and that's why this lasts 400 gallons, it's because these are fully formulated.
And you could probably go the other way and use less of it and still find a lot of effectiveness.
That's actually, we just had a question pop up. Can you use too much EDT or too much diesel extreme? Like we just said, you can't. You're not going to hurt anything, but your return just, we've already formulated to the peak performance there. So you're not going to hurt anything, but you're not going to gain much.
And I'll tell you, I know if your motivation is you really want to clean out your fuel system, it would make more sense to use 2 treatments of diesel extreme with 2 tanks of fuel than to do twice as much diesel extreme in one tank. Right, because you have all that chemical running through there at whatever the flow rate is, so you're washing twice as much.
Sure.
It would be a better way to spend your money. We're probably going to need to round this up because we're hitting the end of our time. So
one more question has popped up. Can you use hot shots with other additives?
You can. We don't recommend it because, you know, the good thing about additives are it's kind of the Wild West. Whatever you want to blend, you can. The bad thing is we don't really know what some of those other chemicals are. So there's no way to guarantee that if you used XYZ chemical and put it in with ours that there's not a reaction. You know, we haven't seen any bad reactions, and most manufacturers work really hard to be as safe as they can. But at the same time, I wouldn't. The other side of it is we don't really know what effect it changed inside that system. If you just do one at a time, you're able to really figure out, okay, that cleaned out my stiction. That was my problem. My truck's running right. If you put 3 additives in there, which one really fixed it? You don't know. So the next time it happens, you won't know how to fix it. So that's, any other questions? Or
I think we're good. I appreciate all the questions. And like we said, we're going to pick a few of these questions that were posted. We'll send you a message through Facebook Messenger. That way you can get back with us with your address. We'll ship you out some Stiction Eliminator as a thank you for posting the question. We're going to be back again next week, Friday again.
We'll be back next Friday. Post your questions this week as you're driving down the road. If you think of something.
You want to pick a product for next week?
I think we should talk about the diesel extreme next week, do a deeper dive.
All right. Next week we'll do diesel extreme. So especially if you have any specific diesel extreme questions, our fuel additive there, go ahead and post them on this video feed here. We'll check it, or you can always send it to us in Messenger, and we'll add it to our list for next week. And
absolutely.
Remember to go to the website, hotshotsecret.com/NHRDA. Get yourself signed up for the trip for 2. We don't have much time left on that, so get your name in now.
Yeah. Like the video cast, share it with everybody you know. You know, we'd like to see our likes and shares go up. It kind of helps us to understand better what's happening in the market and gives us more good questions. So,
and if you have ideas for us.
Yeah, if there's something you'd like to see.
Is there somebody you'd like us to bring on? We've got a lot of friends in the industry.
We do.
We're going to get some guests on as well. And remember, next weekend, come see us. If you're out in Montana, stop by NHRDA. If you're in Indiana, come by the Outlaw Diesel Super Series. If you're down in Texas, stop by Great American Trucking Show. Or out in West Virginia for the Street Outlaws Memphis series finale. We're going to be everywhere next weekend. And I don't know who's going to do a video next weekend.
That'll be tricky. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
We'll make sure somebody's here doing a video to answer any questions you post this week. So in the meantime, have a great weekend. Thanks for spending your time with us. Yeah, happy Friday, and thanks for being here.